The employers that partner with Sikh have great benefit by hiring people with disabilities. And our job at Sikh is to help people to figure out what it is that they want. What are those ideal conditions in a job? And what are the employers that need those ideal conditions? And how do we use people's skills and abilities and contribution to enhance that employer so that they can thrive as well? And that partnership is really important.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining us here on the small screen. I'm Steve Blanks, the Director of Partnerships here at Sikh, and I have the great honor of launching our 6th and our largest NDEAM event. That's National Disability Employment Awareness Month, Employment Recognition. So it's a little weird, right? For those of you who joined us before, we've been usually catered by a blissful breakfast from Seasons 52 in North Bethesda. We've been kindly donated gorgeous facilities from Montgomery Parks, thanks to the great partners we have in Jim, Darlene, Mary Beth, and the accessibility team from Montgomery Parks. So things do change, right? But hopefully next year, we'll be right back at Brookside Gardens enjoying each other's company and hopefully having a big hug, I hope. A few housekeeping items just to get us started. You'll see a chat function somewhere on the screen, on your screen. Please use it to shout out, to give best wishes, to give huge hugs out to everyone. If you have questions and thoughts and ideas for the panelists, for anyone, please put them in there. We've got a couple of chat monitors. We're going to be registering up and giving you feedback and information. For the next hour or so, we're going to give you a break though. A time out from the craziness of 2020. However, before we jump into it, I do have one thing I have to say, and that's I'm sorry. As some of you know, I'm a die-hard Kansas City Chiefs fan. And I had the privilege back in February to get to go to Super Bowl LIV and see them win their first championship in 50 years. It was so great. But ever since then, everything's kind of gone downhill, and I apologize. On a serious note, this has been an incredibly challenging year for all of us, and especially for those of you most directly impacted by the pandemic and its consequences. Our hearts and thoughts go out to each and one of you and your families. Please, please, please continue to practice those safe habits, and we will get through this together. Okay, get comfortable, settle back, and enjoy our program. One which we focused on positives, focused on inspirational messages, focused on celebrations, and focused on the incredible community of truly inclusive workplaces that we have. Our winners this year will truly believe in the power of diversity, the importance of leveraging people's differences, and in creating accessible employment for all. Our program this afternoon is highlighted by some incredible leaders locally, across the state, the country, and for the first time, the world. And I think you'll be inspired this afternoon. Before I jump off the screen, I have a few people I have to definitely thank, and that's our great planning committee. Katie Barrett, Sikh's Communications and Development Director, Nancy Eby, our Project Search Program Director, Mike Petrick, the Employment Services Program Director, and the incredible Employer Outreach team led by Pam Toole, and swiftly guided by Linda Hoyt and Katie Smeltz. Thank you very much, guys. Without you, I don't know where we would be. So let's get this Hollywood production on the road. First, I have the great honor and privilege to introduce Madam Secretary Carol Bainey. I've been lucky enough to know Carol my whole career, and her passion for disability rights cannot be compared. Her dedication throughout her distinguished career was recognized with the appointment to the cabinet level position, Secretary of Department of Disabilities by Governor Hogan in 2015. In this role, Carol's continued her ardent support of employment initiatives for people with disabilities and the successful Project Search internship programs, of which there are now 14 across the state. Carol will also be sharing with us some remarks from the proclamation from the governor. So take it away, Carol.
Hello. I'm Carol Bainey, Secretary of the Maryland Department of Disabilities. I'm happy to celebrate National Disability Employment Awareness Month with you and to recognize the significant accomplishments of the honorees. It is really my pleasure to help you recognize some outstanding Marylanders. I bring you greetings and warmest congratulations to the honorees from Governor Larry Hogan, Lieutenant Governor Boyd Rutherford, the entire Hogan-Rutherford administration, and your friends at the Maryland Department of Disabilities. This year has been extraordinary in many ways. While there have been challenges and difficult times, the resilience and dedication of Marylanders shine through. Our state is at its strongest when all of our residents are able to contribute to community life and benefit from that contribution. Full and meaningful employment for all Marylanders, including those with disabilities, is a top priority of our administration. A Maryland that is truly open for business means that all citizens must have the opportunity to work, including those with the most significant barriers. As we focus on the reopening of our state and businesses during this pandemic, everyone must be included in the recovery planning. Financial well-being is one of the 4 goals in our state disabilities plan. Employment is the foundation upon which economic independence is built and is a major focus of our department's efforts. The Department of Disabilities also supports programs like Project Search that model partnerships at the local level. Project Search is an internship program for students with significant disabilities that is business-led and includes local school systems, adult providers, and DOORS as a key partner. Project Search programs are making an impact in producing higher outcomes than traditional transition to work programs. 4 years ago, the governor signed the Ken Cabone Equal Employment Act, which phased out 14C certificates or the use of sub-minimum wage jobs for people with disabilities. I am happy to report that Maryland is at the end of the phase-out of sub-minimum wage. When we began 4 years ago, there were 41 agencies in Maryland who paid their workers with disabilities under this exemption. In Maryland, as of October 1st, all individuals with disabilities are now being paid minimum wage or higher. The work on the 14C issue underscores what we all know, that no one group can do this work alone. We must all come together to address concerns and identify opportunities. The Maryland disability community has made the commitment, and employment for all Marylanders, including those with disabilities, is a top priority of the Hogan-Rutherford administration. Governor Hogan has proclaimed every October Disability Employment Awareness Month in Maryland. In part, the proclamation reads, from the Governor of the State of Maryland, Disability Employment Awareness Month, October 2020. Whereas Disability Employment Awareness Month is an opportunity to recognize the contributions of workers with disabilities and through national and local campaigns, create a greater awareness of the talents and skills individuals with disabilities bring to employers. And whereas we recognize the contributions of essential employees with disabilities who continue to serve our communities during the pandemic. And whereas we are committed to the principle that business profits by investing in workers with disabilities. Maryland will continue to strive to expand employment opportunities for Marylanders with disabilities and consider work the first option for working age adults with disabilities. And thank you for being here today and committing to the collective work as partners to ensure that competitive integrated employment is a reality here in Maryland.
This year, we also have the great opportunity to hear from the best congressman in the country. We might be a little biased. Congressman Jamie Raskin represents Maryland's 8th District, which covers much of Sikh's geographical reach. And we couldn't be happier to have him here today. Congressman Raskin is an ardent supporter of the underdog, a true believer in equality and equity for all, including those with complex disabilities. I don't think he'd mind me saying this also. He's a bit of a groupie for our keynote guest today also. Prior to Congress, Raskin was a 3-term state senator in Maryland where he earned a reputation for building coalitions to deliver a series of landmark legislative accomplishments. He was also a professor of constitutional law at American University's Washington College of Law for more than 25 years. And he's a neighbor of ours living right here in Tacoma Park with his family and is an active member of the local community. Take it away, Congressman Raskin.
Hi, everyone. It's Jamie Raskin from Maryland's 8th Congressional District. I'm calling in just to toast you on all of your great hard work and to celebrate with you the 30th anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act, which is, of course, one of our great landmark framework civil rights statutes, and also to celebrate the 75th anniversary of the National Disability Employment Awareness Month. And this does so much to try to promote equity and access and inclusion for all Americans, because we've got a place for everybody. We need everybody in our economy. We need everybody in society being recognized, and we need to make the best use out of everybody's talents. And so I'm psyched to be doing that with you. Hello to my friend Katie Smeltz, if you're out there. And I also understand you're being joined by the great Judith Heumann, who has been made recently and resurgently famous by her appearance in the great documentary that the Obamas produced, I think, called Crip Camp. And my entire family watched it together, and we were spellbound and so proud to know Judy Heumann a little bit. So congratulations to you. Congratulations to all of you on celebrating these anniversaries. And I'm sending you my very, very best. Stay close and stay healthy.
To introduce our keynote, I'd like to introduce Karen Lee, Sikh's 30-year executive director, to come up. Karen's clear vision is for people with complex intellectual and developmental disabilities to live, work, and thrive, with clear paths to truly inclusive, meaningful, and purposeful lives. Her passion for equal rights of individuals with the most significant disability pushes all of us to work a little harder and a little smarter. Karen has more than ably led Sikh to be a nationally recognized agency in our industry. That was never enough. She has taken on leadership roles locally, at the state level, and more recently, she's become a nationally recognized subject matter expert in customized employment, providing consulting services to state systems from Kentucky to California. Please join me, Karen.
Woo. Thank you, Steve. It is my honor today to introduce our special guest, Judith Heumann. I could spend the next hour talking about all of the wonderful things that she has done. She is a civil rights activist who is recognized globally in the disability community. She's worked with governments, nonprofit organizations, and led development and implementing of human rights regulations and policies. She is a born advocate. She's advocated for herself to go to college at a time when people with disabilities were rarely seen on campus. She graduated from college and applied for a teaching license, but was turned down by the New York Board of Ed because she was considered a fire hazard. She sued them for discrimination and won a landmark case and became the first wheelchair user who taught in the city schools. She founded disability organizations, and she successfully convinced Richard Nixon to sign the first federal civil rights regulations for people with disabilities. When regulations stalled for Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act, Judy and her colleagues and friends in her community organized a sit-in at many federal buildings that lasted 28 days. Her team was the one that lasted the longest until the secretary signed the regulations. You can read it all in her book, Being Human, which is a great book. I recommend that everybody read that. From 1993 to 2001, she served in the Clinton administration as the Secretary of OSERS, the Office of Special Education and Rehabilitation Services. From 2002 to 2006, she served as the World Bank's first advisor on disability and development. And in 2010 to 2017, she was appointed by the Obama administration as the first advisor for international disability rights as the U.S. Department of State. Most recently, she's become a streaming rock star for her part in the Obama documentary called Crip Camp. This year, she released this unrepentant memoir, Being Human, and she built a presence online to the human perspective. And most notably, she met Trevor Noah on her appearance of The Daily Show. So welcome to Judy Heumann, and thank you so much for being with us today. I have a few questions for you.
Thank you, Karen.
As we celebrate the 30th anniversary of the ADA, what progress do you think has been made in the area of employment for people with disabilities? And what do you think our next move should be?
So, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me first say that thank you very much for your gracious comments. Let me also say that all the wonderful things you said I've done, I've been an active participant in, but none of these things could have been done by one person. So without shouting out many, many names, I just want everyone to know that any of the major changes that we've been able to make over these decades have been the result of thousands of people who've been committed and working hard. And I would never say that I was the one that got Richard Nixon to, in fact, sign the law. I was definitely one of the people involved in the protest, but thank you very much for those kind words. Anyway, answering your question, some of my thoughts about how far we've come. You know, the reality is we've come very far and not far enough. Section 504, Section 503, which addresses contractors, not being able to discriminate against federal contractors, not being able to not being able to discriminate against disabled individuals, both in 504 and 503, and then the Americans with Disabilities Act, which covers the public and private sector. Those have been very, very important pieces of legislation. Strengthening the Rehabilitation Act, focusing services on people who have more significant disabilities, which came about in 1973. I think all of these are important. And we've seen many more people moving into the world of work, but we all know statistically the unemployment rate for disabled individuals pre-COVID was still much higher for disabled individuals than for non-disabled individuals. So I feel like there are a number of areas we need to be working on. The Department of Rehabilitation across the United States, the state agencies need more money. They need more money to be able to serve more people. States need to be matching because the federal state program, about 78% federal money, 22% state money. Many states are not doing their full match, so for every dollar they don't match, the state loses money. At a time right now where we're needing more training and more education, it's a big concern for me. We've seen over these last years that as employers, some of whom you're honoring today, are understanding through their legal obligations and through the learning that they've been experiencing, that they are understanding that there are many qualified disabled people out there who in the past they weren't willing to hire. And so I think, you know, what's going on in Maryland, no more money going into paying people below minimum wage is great. We still need to be focusing on better education and really getting employers to step up much more, hiring disabled people who meet the qualifications for their jobs.
Great, thank you so much. And I couldn't agree more about starting education, starting young with young people, making sure those expectations are there that everybody enters the workforce. Include kids with disabilities in regular classes so that there's an opportunity for the future employers of the world to be supporting and learning about all the contributions that people with disabilities can make. Thank you. As you said, Sikh has so many wonderful employer partners: Dawson's Market up in Rockville, NIH Clinical Center, Embassy Suites Convention Center, CVS, Walgreens, Resinova Labs, Montgomery Parks, and Hale Orchards. What advice do you have for those employers that already get it? They get it, and how would you recommend that they spread the news about the benefits of hiring people with disabilities?
Well, I think employers that get it are also including disabled people in their advertising, I'm hoping. So that employers who are doing advertising like the CVSs and others, whose purpose is to serve customers in the provision of services, allowing people to see through example how that's happening. I would also say that we need these businesses in a very pronounced way when they participate in events like with the Chambers of Commerce and other associations that they belong to. And when they're talking about diversity, that they make sure that the discussion around disabled employees of different colors and different backgrounds with different jobs are a meaningful part of the diversity discussion. All too frequently, one of the positive things going on is more and more employers are talking about the diversification of their workforce. But all too frequently in those discussions around the diversification of their workforce, they're not really discussing disabled people as a part of their workforce. So I think that's one thing that companies need to look at. How are you expressing the value of disabled employees, like the value of women employees and people of color? Are you making it look as though it's equal? Are you talking about what you've learned? And what you've learned, I think, can be very important. What you thought previously, what you think now, how that came about, how you're working with your management staff, how you're working with your line staff to really get this issue of inclusion, including disabled people, to be something that is just a normal part of the way you do your day-to-day work.
Great. I love that answer. I love the idea of people with disabilities who happen to be employees. They're showing up in their advertisements, helping a customer, or just kind of the everyday life, like they're just regular employees. That's a great idea. So at SEEK, we're really proud to have a 60% employment rate for job seekers with intellectual disabilities. However, we still know that there's a lot of work to be done on this journey for meaningful jobs and careers, not just jobs. And we have a couple of folks that we are supporting right now who are looking for your advice. So I'm going to let them ask some questions. Our first job seeker is Jessica, and she was in the 2016 Project Search class in Montgomery County Government. While she currently works at Walgreens, her dream job is to work with small children in childcare. And she's been met with some resistance because she can't pick up a child. They're saying that she can't be hired. And as you faced a similar issue, I'm wondering, let's have Jessica ask her question and if you could give her some advice.
Hello, my name is Jessica. I have been looking for my dream job in childcare for a long time. I know you had to struggle to get your first job in teaching. What words of encouragement might you have someone like me trying to find a job?
My name is Justin Haynes.
Okay. If you could answer Jessica's question.
Sure. So Jessica, I would say a couple things. I would look to more than one prospective employer to see if there may be a childcare program where you could not only get a job, but feel welcomed by the employer and by the teachers and students. I would also talk with the employer to see, like, what percentage of the time are they expecting people to pick children up? Because, you know, there is something called a reasonable accommodation. And I don't think that typically people are picking children up all the time. It's once in a while. So maybe there's something else that you can do in the job that someone else can give you some of their time so that you can expand doing certain work so that if a child needs to be lifted, someone else can lift that child. You also may want to look at not just doing preschool, but seeing if you could get a job in kindergarten or the first or second grade, where it's not typical that teachers are picking children up. So these are different options. Plus, I think, you know, it's always important to study. Are you taking any classes? Are you talking to people who are knowledgeable in this area that you could be learning more from? That the employer also sees you as a valuable employee who can contribute much to whatever group of children you're working with.
That's great advice for Jessica and the team of people that are supporting her to meet her career goals. So thank you to both Jessica and Judy for your answer. Our next question comes from Justin. And Justin was in the first class of Project Search in NIH in 2010 and 11. He is one of our first graduates to ever have secured a paid position at NIH's Clinical Center. And he works in the Office of Clinical Research and Medical Education, fancy title. He's an office administration clerk. So, Justin, what's your question for Judy?
My name is Justin Haynes. I have a great job at NIH. I've been working there for 9 years. I have some fun questions for you. How well you kept sane during this pandemic, and what would you like to do for fun? Thanks.
What do I like to do for fun? That is really a great question. I have to remember that I need to do things for fun when, you know, I'm not going out very much. So I like to, you probably don't even know what this program is, but there's something called Golden Girls. I love watching Golden Girls because I always laugh when I watch Golden Girls. I like to watch programs like Blackish. I love Blackish. And I also love Everybody Loves Raymond. Comedies. I'm really into comedies because I watch too much news. And then were you also asking, you filled out many job applications, but can't seem to be hired? Was that part of his question too? No, sorry, no one else's. Sorry, okay. That's how I like, oh, and you know what? I have one other thing that I'm trying to do for fun. I met this wonderful person. Their name is Cello Man, and they live in New York. And he is every day writing down 5 things that he's appreciative for the day that's just finished. And he does it every day. And I have to say, I am trying to do it every day. But I think for everyone in the audience, it's probably a really good thing to do. 5 things that you're appreciative of. It doesn't have to be big things. Maybe the milk was great, or you had a good cookie, or you had a good discussion with a friend on the phone, or you played a game, or whatever it might be. It doesn't have to be something where you changed the world, but made you a little bit happy.
Gratitude, that is such a great thing for all of us to do. So your activism, this is a little bit more of a selfish question for me. Your activism and passion for inclusion and diversity is known around the world. And at Seek, we work to help our community do more and raise awareness. What thoughts do you have to assist Seek and our ambassadors and others like us in our pursuit to bring more equity into the workforce for people with disabilities?
I mean, I think it's really an extension of what I've already been saying. We need everyone to come to the plate. We need everyone, you know, the message that we've been giving for decades, and really the President's Committee on Employment of People with Disabilities started in like 1947, and it's the same message. So I really believe that the employers and managers and others need to be much more part of this discussion. And by that I mean, I really think it's important to talk about what your hesitations were, what you've learned, what was beneficial, what allowed you to begin to recognize that disabled employees were good employees. Sometimes they weren't good employees, but the reality is the data shows that disabled people, you know, show up to work, come when the weather is bad, do all kinds of things. And in many cases, I think once people get a job, they're afraid of losing it. And so they really do their best all the time. So it can't just be what we as disabled people or organizations like Sikh do. It's really got to be what we do together. It's got to be an acknowledgement from the business community, from the State Department of Labor and Rehab and others, what's working and what's not working. And I think also, you know, technical assistance in a more organized way, I think would be very helpful. And also, I think it's really important that parents who have children with disabilities really understand from the very beginning that there is an expectation for work for everyone. Disabled children should not be exempted from that. There should not be a presumption of what a child can do when they're going to be an adult. There's so many changes that are going on in our world of work and in our general environment. And I would say also that really it's very important for parents to really be demanding of the school system and really to be looking not only for opportunities about the classes that people are taking, students are taking, but also looking at internships, mentorships. Project Search is something that I love. I love the Project Search people. And Project Search starts when kids are in their junior, senior year of high school. So in reality, these are things that should be started when kids are 4, 5, 6, 7 years old. You know, if you have your kid taking out the garbage, have your child do something they can do, but have it be an expectation, whether it's folding a napkin or taking out the garbage or picking up the phone or whatever it may be. It's something that they know you rely on them to do. And you reward them, I'm not saying money, you reward them with thank yous and other things like that, and you incrementally advance what it is that your children are doing. I also think that it's very important that parents meet adults with disabilities and meet their parents, but also really meet adults with disabilities, and that adults with disabilities are really spending more time with your children so that there are positive role models that people are experiencing. And finally, I think it's also very important that we're demanding much more of our media, children's books, television programs, everything where disability is just a natural part of what's happening. I'm not saying that every lead role needs to be played by a disabled person, but you know, when you look at advertising on TV today, you have the most amazing, beautiful diversity of everything you could think of. Men and women, men and men, women and women, Muslim women, you know, people with all different racial backgrounds. You hardly ever see a disabled person, a disabled couple. You don't see that very often. We need to be demanding of the industries that are doing advertising that we're a part of what people are seeing.
Wonderful. Your message about disability is a normal part of life is, I really take that to heart. I really appreciate that. I think whenever we see an ad that has a child with a disability and everybody's like, look at that one. So it is abnormal because we're all so proud of seeing it, but you're right. As a part of every workforce, as a part of every commercial, as a part of not necessarily the lead role, but
No.
they're a part of the store. They're shopping at the store. They're working at the store. They are involved in every way. So I really appreciate it. And the starting young is so critical, that expectation. While we're asking every child, what do you want to be when you grow up? We absolutely have to ask that of kids with disabilities. So I just want a heartfelt thank you to you. And, you know, I appreciate the story you tell in your book. I can see that your mother really had vision for you as well. And that's the backbone behind some of the drive that you had, and know how critical it is for families to support their sons and daughters to do the best they can. So thank you so much for joining us on this special NDEAM recognition, and good luck in the future. And thank you. And I'm going to pass it now to Nancy Edie, who's going to start off with our 2020 NDEAM Recognition Award Ceremony. Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Karen, and thank you, Judith. Such words of wisdom. Definitely going to be watching the Golden Girls tonight. Yeah, but definitely enjoyed hearing you talk today and sharing your words of wisdom, so thank you. It's an honor to have you join us today. and hear your perspective. We're grateful for your advocacy that you've done to build a more inclusive community. So our first award of the ceremony is the Customized Employment Award. This award recognizes an employer or company that epitomizes the belief that customized employment provides an inclusive pathway for all those seeking to enter the workforce and grow as professionals. This employer has allowed themselves to serve as a role model for other companies looking to use customized employment as a means to make their operations more inclusive and profitable. This year's award goes to Champions Oncology, a forerunner for testing and identification for potential therapeutic options for cancer treatment. Champions is being honored as they've demonstrated how customizing the employment role has been beneficial to themselves as well as the employee. Prior to COVID-19, the pandemic, plans were underway for Charlie Hupp to intern through Project Search as a cage washer. However, this had to be put on hold. We can thank this great group for revising the initial role and continuing the plan to bring Charlie on board in a different capacity. Laura Naranjo, Dr. Wendy Wagner, David Dionellis, and Forrest Short. All have played a part in creating the initial and evolving role for Charlie. He was recently hired with their crew as a hygiene patrol officer. With touchpoint cleaning being so critically important these days, Charlie has provided the service to Champions Oncology and warmed the hearts of all that he encounters. A big congratulations to Champions Oncology.
For these COVID times, we decided to create a new position where somebody will take care of these individual tasks. Somebody will be responsible to clean the most surface and touched items and doorknobs, break rooms, conference rooms that everyone pretty much will be exposed. So we decided to make sure that we create this new role and we give the opportunity to Charlie to meet the team, get into our daily operations, and that has actually worked out really nicely. He's done, again, I cannot be more proud and more excited and happier to have him here. He's demonstrated above and beyond expectations, and it's just helping us. I often think that we help them, but they actually help us in actually alleviating the work that we have.
I always feel health and a good, strong team.
I think Charlie has done an amazing job with the team, Alvande with the team. Everyone really loves what he does, and the great impact that he's having to our operations is definitely much, much appreciated. So we thank Sikh, we thank Charlie every day that he's here. We're very, very excited to have him, and he's definitely a key individual and a true champion. So thank you very much for this opportunity. Thank you for the award. Thank you, Charlie. As I mentioned earlier, this wouldn't have happened without him, so he's really the start, and we appreciate everything that he does for us.
The next category is Excellence in Mentorship Award. This award is given to an individual or organization that has gone above and beyond to support, encourage, and foster success within a company or a person that seeks support. This year's winner of the Excellence in Mentorship Award goes to Jennifer J. Fries from NIH Office of Research Services. Jennifer was nominated for her outstanding efforts to support Mark McNeil, a former Project Search intern. Right from the start in her new role, Jennifer was eager to work collaboratively with Mark and the Project Search team to discuss his goals as an employee and find out how to best support him in reaching his goals. Soon after, she coordinated with the team to host a training on disability awareness to create the best work environment for Mark and others with different abilities, and made sure that inclusion and acceptance were top priorities for her department. Jennifer has challenged Mark to take on unfamiliar tasks and responsibilities, to include writing a monthly newsletter for the department and being part of several different committees. She was able to see and tap into his potential from the very beginning. It is clear that she views Mark's success as a success for the whole department. Jennifer continues to lead by example in promoting inclusion in the workplace, as shown by her recent workplace webinar on diversity and inclusion. Jennifer's guidance and support have led to Mark's successful growth this past year, and it has greatly impacted his confidence. On behalf of the Project Search NIH team, Sikh, and Mark, we're grateful for Jennifer's support. Congratulations, Jennifer.
Thank you so much for letting me have the privilege of working with Project Seek and Project Search. I appreciate the great work you do. I know I enjoy working with my employees, especially Mark, and the great work he's done and how he's grown through this year. I love working with my coaches. So Monica and Megan, thank you so much for everything you've done for me and giving me that support and guidance to make it through this period of being a new employee and working with my employees. I can't thank you enough, and give people with disabilities a chance. They all have something to give to the community, and sometimes you don't know, sometimes it's hidden, but once you find it, you really find their gift, and you find that they're very valued and important people. And Mark has certainly made me feel that way as a supervisor and as a coworker. Thank you.
Our next award is the Rising Star Award, which recognizes an individual supported by Sikh who has excelled and grown considerably over the course of the past year. This awardee's success demonstrates that job matching is only half the story of job success, and excellence on the job deserves recognition and celebration. I'm pleased to announce this year's Rising Star Award awardee is Vincent Williams. If there's one word to describe Vincent, it would be determination. Prior to graduating from Project Search in 2018, Vincent was intent on becoming a building engineer. While in Project Search, he excelled in his engineering internship, which helped pique his interest in the field. Brandon Williams, site lead at Project Search Embassy Suites Capitol Hilton, notes that to this day, Vincent's the only intern to willingly take notes from his mentor every day. His eagerness to learn has been an important factor in his continued growth at W.S. Jinks & Son, a local DC hardware store where Vincent's been working for the last 2 years. Vincent started out working 2 days a week, but that soon changed, and he is now a full-time essential employee that's been working throughout the entire pandemic. Vincent has helped open doors for other interns at W.S. Jinks & Son. In the spring of 2019, Mike Siegel, Vincent's manager, was gracious enough to host a job fair at his store for Project Search graduates. He was very instrumental in reaching out to local businesses in the H Street corridor to participate in the event. These days, Vincent is the go-to person to train new employees, and his responsibilities continue to grow. Vincent has obtained his driver's license and recently purchased his own car. He's a great mentor and inspiration for all. Congratulations, Vincent.
I'm so proud of being at Jinks & Son that I was going to continue like follow my path to it. Like I wish I bought my first car. That's probably amazing. Then I'm gonna continue to grow my own path. My path to my career goals.
Vincent, when we first hired you, 2 days a week, I wasn't entirely sure what we were going to do with you, but I wanted to make it work because the representatives from Project Search and Seek spoke so highly of you and were so persistent about getting you a job here. Immediately, you demonstrated to us that you had incredible qualities. You were a hard worker, amazing merchandising skills, cared about the customers, cared about your employees, for your fellow coworkers. You've been a great asset to us. I think within a month, you were working full time, and you've grown so much over the last 2 years. I'm incredibly proud to receive this award that is totally deserved, and you're a great asset to us here. And most importantly, I think you are an incredible role model for your peers that come through Project Search. We've now hired 2 other students from Project Search. A lot of that is a testament to your hard work. You're an amazing ambassador.
Hello. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Deb Russell, and I started bridging the gap between disability and business in 1990. Most people know me for the 7 years that I spent at Walgreens, helping them realize their vision for a disability-inclusive workforce, but making sure that we did so in a way that was fair to the shareholders, the customers, and the employees alike. My career could not be possible without the passage of the ADA, and so I want to take a moment to just say thanks to all of those who are involved in the fight for our rights. I'm so honored to be a part of this National Disability Employment Awareness Month celebration. Every day, I encounter people who haven't yet experienced the benefits of a disability-inclusive workforce. And I'm excited that Sikh is recognizing businesses who have leveraged these best practices and offering an opportunity for more to learn about it. As I've worked across the globe to help others see the benefits of disability inclusion, Sikh has stood out as a pioneer with innovative ways to ensure that job seekers with disabilities are well matched with employers in the Montgomery County and Washington, D.C. area. The balance between the agency's commitment to support employers as they shift to a more inclusive workplace and their commitment and mission to serve people with disabilities is rare. The employment rate of people with disabilities compared to those without disabilities has not changed in the last 30 years. But today, we celebrate increasing access and opportunity. Despite the statistics, I have tremendous hope because every month I see more and more businesses learning about and touting the benefits of a disability-inclusive workforce. Congratulations to those being honored with awards today. And I hope when you have a chance, you'll all take the opportunity to tell your peers about the great work that Sikh does to help your business be successful and sustainable. Be sure to tell everyone how Sikh has brought you wonderful, capable, and loyal employees who not only do a great job, but improve your bottom line. Thank you very much for allowing me to join into the celebration today.
Good evening. My name is Michael Petrick, and I'm Director of Employment Services here at Sikh. Thank you, Deb Russell, for those wonderful words about what we all can do together. It is my pleasure to present the final 3 awards of the evening. I'm going to start with the Inclusion Works Leadership Award, which honors businesses that have demonstrated their commitment to leadership by example, which can include hiring Sikh community members and giving those members opportunities to contribute to their workforce, and encourages those new employees to participate in work functions, grow within the company, and feel fully integrated with their coworkers. At Sikh, we often work with a mix of employers big and small, and today we're proud to reward this honor to one of the big ones we work with in CVS. We are awarding CVS for their dedication to finding competitive and integral opportunities for so many within the Sikh community, currently including Steve Gruden and Uchendu. CVS has fostered an environment of inclusion through training, hiring practices, and promotion opportunities for Sikh community and many others within our community for nearly 30 years, and has continued these challenges or continued these commitments through the many challenges we have faced in 2020. Here to accept the Inclusion Works Award on behalf of CVS is Stacy Butler.
Hello, everyone. On behalf of CVS Health, we would like to thank Sikh for being a great community partner and giving us this wonderful award. Sikh has helped us on our purpose of having a workplace of diversity and inclusion for individuals with disabilities and allowing them to have a voice within our company. At CVS, we don't ask why we should or if we should hire someone with a disability. It is just the right way to do business and the right thing to do. We humbly accept this award and are looking forward to hiring more great employees from Sikh, like Steve, who has worked for CVS for 29 years, and Yushin, who has 3 years of service. They both add so much value to the teams they work with and the communities they serve. Thank you both for doing an awesome job and leading by example each and every day. Thank you.
As I think you've probably heard by now, 2020 has been both a year of tumult and incredible heroics by people providing tireless services to the community. And it's within that context that we present this year's Janet Alvande Career Achievement Award to 2 community heroes who met the challenges of working during the pandemic with enthusiastic energy and unwavering dedication. The Janet Alvande Award is given every year to the persons who have demonstrated long-term commitment to increasing the value for their team and their community and increasing for themselves through sustained employment. That commitment and value has certainly been front and center to those in the Sikh community working in essential roles in 2020. And in that spirit, we'd like to honor tonight two of those people who've been working throughout the pandemic, Michael Hamm and Jonathan Sumner, both who work at Safeway at the Bethesda and Olney locations respectively. While many of us have been able to shelter in place during the past 7 months, Jonathan and Michael have worked tirelessly and safely on the job and in the community. Their jobs have been so essential that they've worked to make sure that we all stay safe and we all stay well fed, and yes, we all stay well stocked with toilet paper. And for that reason alone, and the many other contributions Michael and Jonathan have made, please join me in saying thank you and congratulating Michael and Jonathan as Jonathan accepts the award on their behalf.
Thank you, Zeke. I like working here a lot. It's been really great working here.
My final award this evening that I get to issue is Seek's Ambassador Award. The Ambassador Award being something that Judith Heumann just talked significantly about the importance. And I'm proud to give this award to Balance Gym, which has several locations that many of us are probably familiar with in the DC area. Seek's relationship with Balance Gym began in early 2019 through an introduction from one of Seek's biggest advocates, Jed Seifert. Balance Gym then first hired Devon to assist with their operations director at the Georgetown location with data entry and record management. That was followed quickly thereafter by hiring Jerome, hired at the Capitol Hill location as a day porter, but continuing through these past essential months as the all-essential and much-loved super cleaner. And despite how tough 2020 has been economically for so many in the DMV, Balance Gym has still been able to reiterate their commitment again and again and again to the Sikh community, as they've hired Devon, Jerome, Joseph, Monet, and Denise at 3 locations in the area. In this past year, Balance Gym has stepped up to connect Sikh to other potential employers in the DC area, helping us build new relationships that will bring employment, equality, and community to more people with disabilities in the DMV. Thank you to Cassia, Naomi, Jordan, Devin, Omar, and everyone at Balance Gym for supporting Sikh in their mission. Go ahead, Cassia, take it away.
We here at Balance Gym are so thrilled to receive the Ambassador Award from Sikh. We have really loved having Sikh as a partner in our facilities and others. It has brought so much joy to have their employees as a part of our family, and we just can't wait to spread the word onwards and upwards. Thank you, Sikh, for everything that you do.
Thank you again to all of our awardees, as I hope you all feel the recognition that we feel with all the work that you do at Sikh every single day. I'd finally like to conclude this afternoon by having the distinct pleasure of introducing Matt Hardwick, President and CEO of Resinova Laboratories in Silver Spring, an inclusive Sikh employer, and most importantly to us, a member of Sikh's Business Advisory Council. Matt will leave us with closing thoughts and give us a call to action that we can take with us in the year ahead, hopefully without the pandemic. Go ahead, Matt.
Hello, my name is Matt Hardwick, and I'm the founder and CEO of Resinova Laboratories and Resinova Clinical Diagnostics. It is an honor to close out this year's NDEAM Employer Recognition Event. For the last 3 years, Resinova has been actively engaged with Sikh, first as an employer, then as a sponsor, and more recently as a member of the Business Advisory Committee. It was the fall of 2017 when I first engaged with Sikh. We needed a part-time laboratory technician to assist in numerous tasks, ranging from dishwashing to making testing reagents. Sikh identified Bridget, who was new to the workforce, as a potential candidate. Over 2 weeks, Bridget and the Sikh staff thoroughly documented all of her tasks and developed a work plan for Bridget. And 2.5 years later, Bridget has increased her work from 2 to 3 days per week and remains one of our most reliable employees. She has grown from a quiet and shy colleague to one who is actively engaged and enjoys the company of her lab mates. As an employer, Bridget permanently fills a need that is typically transient by nature. Her tasks are fairly repetitive, but she carries them out with an admirable consistency. Bridget is also flexible enough to take on additional tasks without having to engage Sikh staff. This is an enormous benefit for a small and ever-changing company like Resonova's. Working with Bridget has benefited everyone on my staff, including myself. By working with someone who doesn't process information in that quote-unquote typical way, we all have to improve the clarity of our communication. Working with someone whose differences may be more obvious than ours helps each of us navigate our own, perhaps better masked differences. It is one of my great personal and professional joys to work with Sikh. They are generous in every way and make our community a better and far more inclusive place. Thank you and goodbye.
Thanks, Matt. As Matt noted, he is a member of our incredibly valuable Business Advisory Council. That is just one of the ways that you can help Sikh and the people we support. Create rewarding paid jobs being by far the best thing you can do, and something that Matt has done and continues to do as he grows his organization. However, some of you listening today may be able to provide feedback to our job seekers on their resumes, or help with interview skills, or maybe you could provide workplace learning opportunities such as internships, work trials, and the like. We hope today you've been inspired to take action to further inclusion and diversity, and that you'll partner with Sikh to help you on this journey. Sikh is very grateful to Judith Heumann, Congressman Raskin, Carol Beatty, and Deb Russell for showing their amazing support for us today and giving us such incredible remarks. We also need to thank our incredible great employment partners who are offering some discounts to our attendees today. You will all receive an email afterwards with some discounts from Soulful Cafe. They're in Rockville, Soldier Fit, and their locations throughout Montgomery County, Balance Gym and their locations throughout DC, and Seasons 52 in North Bethesda. And I also believe Cambria has some discounts as well available, that you'll get a digital email. As part of that email, there'll be a survey. We really need your feedback. We love to hear back from everyone with respect to how this went, how was the experience. Hopefully you got inspired. And if you get that survey back to us, we will put you into a raffle and you may be able to win a 2-night stay at the new Cambria Hotel in Rockville, kindly donated by that group. One final thank you is to the man behind the curtain, the man behind the scenes. He's not behind this curtain, he's behind the scenes. Danny Cohen from Digital Events Associates, who's helped us pull this together, put the video feeds together, helped us get the sessions together such that we looked somewhat professional and somewhat smooth, and we really appreciate that, Danny. Thank you. Thanks for sticking around with us this afternoon. Please continue to be safe, practicing good habits of wearing masks and being socially distant, and continue to take care of yourselves. If you're able to take care of someone else, please do that too. Right? Just a little message for everyone as I say bye.